I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading for the very last week of 2017, starting Monday, December the 25th and running to the 31st on Sunday. So Mercury retrograde is over. I know I'm happy about that, and I'm assuming you guys probably will be too, causing much disruption to the postal service, to our communications, to travel, to electronics, the whole gamut. So it's been a challenging time, but it's over now. And a time of relative stability, and up until Sunday, well, actually Monday, the following Monday, we have a supermoon, which is the Cancer full moon on January the 1st. Actually, here in Australia, it hits at 2 a.m. or something around there on the 2nd. So officially the 2nd, but really the night of the 1st. So I might talk about that a little bit more next week, but suffice it to say, Cancer is associated with home life, with heavy emotions, often with our mothers and our own roles as mothers. All that sort of stuff can come up heavy. So particularly if you are a Cancer or you are a water sign, so also Scorpio or Pisces, you might find that full moon brings up a lot of stuff for you. So I'll talk about that more next week. But let's start with Monday, Christmas Day if you're in a Western country. And right here, optimism, beautiful. Never not a good time for this card. So this reminds us that there's good reason to be hopeful. And I know Christmas Day, I've talked about this in posts before, it's not a joyous time for a lot of people. It's a really hard time. And this card is about hope, which is symbolic of that. If you are in a Western country, you know that nativity story that the festival of Christmas is founded on, all about hope, really. And so there's good cause for optimism. I know things, maybe 2017 has not been an easy year for you. It's been a number 1 year in numerology. That means a lot of things breaking down to start all over again. So, and that can be really destabilizing for a lot of people. So it has been hard, but this is letting you know that doesn't mean things are going to always be hard for you. Believe in happy endings, I guess, if I can use that fairy tale phrase, even though that's quite loaded. But believe that things can change and they can get better, and they will. But it does a lot depend on your mindset and your willingness to embrace change. Sometimes we block change in ways that we don't perhaps realise straight away. So Tuesday, the 26th of December. Actually can't believe I'm doing this for the last time this year. Just flashed by. Feels like Easter was only yesterday to me. So communicate with your angels. So a couple of different things here. The first thing to remember is that your angels cannot help you unless you ask them for help. That is because of the law of free will. So basically you're in charge of your life, not the angels. So that means if you want help, you've got to ask for it. They can't just intervene and make changes in your life unless your life is in danger and it's not your time to go. They can definitely intervene in those situations, and the internet is full of stories of that happening. And in fact, there was a whole TV series about it called Touched by an Angel. I don't know if you remember that, in the 90s. Anyway, obviously it's a TV show, not real, but it's sort of based on that premise of angels taking human form to help people. But back to this card, the other meanings are, well, firstly, obviously it's inviting you to ask your angels for help, but also to talk to them more, because you know, this world, there are a lot of people who feel lonely in this world, and this card wants you to know that you're not alone, and you've always got your angel squad around you. So talk to them. I talk to mine all the time, not just when I need help with something, but all sorts of things, just general conversation, or just things I'm struggling with. I think also at its core, this card is asking you, or affirming, that you can in fact talk to your angels and that they are listening. Sometimes I've had periods of my life where I thought they weren't listening, and that's because I wasn't really listening to the answers that they were giving to me, and that's because they weren't giving me the answers I wanted. So just be aware if that's showing up for you. They're always listening, and they're always communicating to us. So don't forget, you can ask for a sign if you feel like you're not really hearing what they're saying, or you're hearing what they're saying but you're doubtful about it. Ask for a sign that you've understood correctly. Oops. Whoa, Ascended Masters. This is a really intense card, and I don't think it's actually come up before. So For those of you who aren't, sort of haven't done a lot of work or reading about light worker type information or anything metaphysical, the Ascended Masters is the name given to like a higher realm of beings. So I don't know if they're above angels, but they're different to angels. They include spiritual teachers who've walked the earth. Gandhi, Jesus, oh gosh, all sorts. Ganesh, Buddha. So all those sorts of, remember that these cards and the angels are non-denominational. So whatever you believe in, that's totally fine. There's no sort of barriers put around these. And even if you don't believe in any of those, that doesn't matter. So what you need to take from this is the reassurance that you're being looked after by higher powers. That's what spirituality is. It's a belief in something that is bigger than you. And that spirituality is something that people want to define, but it's at its crux, that's what it is. Believing in something bigger than you. And people get glimpses of that when they become parents for the first time, because the miracle of creation comes straight before their eyes when they survive a near-death experience, or they survive a brush with death in some way, perhaps chronic disease. Or, yeah, there are all sorts of ways that people get glimpses of this higher power, and sometimes that can change their lives, sometimes it doesn't, that's okay, but that's what spirituality is about. If you believe in something bigger than yourself, then you are more motivated to treat people kindly, because you understand that we're all together, we're all the same, and that regardless of our ethnicity or our gender, we're all the same. We're different, but we're all equal, is what I should say, really, rather than we're all the same. And so this might be a call to you to delve into some of that metaphysical sort of stuff, into philosophy, or to examine your beliefs in some way. Remember, there's no right or wrong answers when it comes to this sort of stuff. It's all personal. Yeah, this card sometimes comes up for people when I'm doing one-on-one readings, when they've got a personal connection with one of these Ascended Masters. If that's you, or if you've always felt like you kind of get a person more than another person, or I'm talking about spiritual leaders. When I say person, I'm talking about human beings. Then this is an invitation for you to research that more and look into it, explore that. But if that doesn't really mean anything to you, just know that this is saying to you that you're being looked after and you're being protected, and there are a lot of people in your life from the divine realms who are giving you the guidance you need. So Thursday, two cards jumped out, but one of them's not so significant. I'm going to talk about them both, but I'm only going to put one on my social. So blessings, this is great. This means that blessings are coming your way. If you can see that clearly, she's actually dropping flowers on a village. This is a really, really old card deck, and the pictures are really quite dated, but what I like about that is that flowers are symbolic of things blooming. So if you think about spring, it's all about new life. So to me, this says that new things are coming along, new blessings are going to come into your life, and I think that's really hopeful. Again, if maybe that's the predominant theme, I guess, so far. And the other card is trust. So trusting that you're being looked after. So that's also quite relevant given this card here. So there's a very strong higher level of spiritual knowledge, presence coming through in this reading, and I don't know if that's because some of you are in a really dark place and you need extra help, or perhaps it's just that some of you are getting pushed to expand your spiritual awareness more. And if you're watching this, you're probably someone who's already heard that call, so I guess you could go either way with that. Friday. What's Friday? That was really awkward shuffling, but never mind, we got what we needed. Entrepreneur. Fantastic, because we're coming up to the new year, which is a time when people reset their goals, or maybe they recommit to the ones they made last year that didn't quite pan out so well. No judgment. Entrepreneur. So this comes up in personal readings to let people know that they suit self-employment and they suit doing their own thing. So if you're getting looking at this now going, no, I actually really like my job, and I actually really like looking for people that, working for other people. That's totally fine. You don't have to change that, but look for ways that you can, because this is about power. If you look at this flame, look for ways that you can be doing something empowering for yourself, for other people as well, if that makes sense. So maybe there's a side hustle, as the cool young people call it, or like a side project you could be doing, not necessarily for money. Maybe it's like a creative thing. Maybe you start writing a book this year. Maybe you, I don't know, start teaching some course in your spare time. Anything like that. It doesn't have to be like a full-time gig that you commit to becoming your own boss of. But think about ways that you can follow that call that's coming through to you, and in many cases has been coming through for a long time, and you just haven't quite acted on it yet. Again, no judgment, because trust me, I was getting the message for a very long time. I needed to be doing angel card readings, and it took me many, many years to commit to that. So everything happens when it needs to happen. But if you're watching this, you know this is your time. So get cracking. So think of the angels as like your support team, your co-workers. They'll give you what you need. So if you're wanting to start a business but you think, oh, I don't really have any accounting knowledge, ask the angels to help, and then before you know it, you'll be at a party and you'll be talking to someone who just happens to be an accountant for small business. That's just an example, but that sort of thing can happen. So yeah, just trust in that ability for you to be supplied with what you need. Ask for help and go ahead with what you've been meaning to do. Maybe you've been wanting to start your own blog. I don't know, whatever it is, get going on your passion project, I think it's sometimes termed. It's not necessarily about making money, although it certainly can be. Whoa, here's another card I totally did not expect. And I know you can't necessarily expect cards, but this is one that doesn't come up. Indigo and crystal children. Now, some of you will already be familiar with this. If you're not, it's only a very small range of people that this applies to. So crystal, excuse me, indigo children, that's the term I'm more familiar with, are children who are often misdiagnosed as being ADHD, but they're children who have psychic abilities, basically. So they are the children who don't fit in socially necessarily. They don't follow conventional kind of developmental progress, and they may be ADHD as well, but it's not really about that. It's just that's the kind of term that the Western medical society will often put on these kids. So if your child is seeing angels, seeing spirits, whatever it is, this is asking you to help them foster that ability, because the next generation, there are a lot coming through and we need them, because this planet's not in a good place, in case you hadn't noticed. So we all start off like this, by the way. We all start off having spiritual awareness, but we kind of grow out of it, if I could put it like that. We get told that that's our imagination, that's not real, and so we sort of stop. And I have very vivid memories of this, of not being told to stop, but of seeing visions and just knowing that I wasn't alone, if I can put it like that. So now I'm not an indigo child, or wasn't, but some of you may have children in your life. Maybe they're your kids, or maybe they're in your class if you're a teacher, or some sort of kids who fit into this mold, and right now your intuition will be going ding, 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 ding. That means you need to look into this. So do some Googling. Some of it's pretty heavy stuff. Don't get too lost in the rabbit warren of the internet, but just take some of those generic guidelines as to how you can support those kids. Now, it's also about sensitivity. So if there are children around you who are empaths, all that means, and if you're watching this, you're probably an empath too. I certainly am. It means you pick up on other people's energy. So if you walk into a room and the people are all really negative and gossiping about other people, that's going to affect you, and you're going to walk out of that room feeling so drained. So this is just, I guess, if you know kids like this who are affected by energy, be really careful about the environments you send them into. You know, if you have a child, or you know a child who's just really, really shy and just doesn't like being around a lot of people, don't keep sending them into those situations unless it can't be avoided, because it's going to aggravate them and it's not good for their energy. So now, if you don't have any kids in your life who fit into this mold, honour your own sensitivity. So what I just mentioned about the empaths, how are you honouring your energy? Are you going into situations where you're being provoked? Are you going into situations where you're not gelling with people? Maybe you should do some shielding work around your energy so you're not taking on board other people's negativity. And I know I've talked about this before, but energy and moods are absolutely contagious. There are scientists who have proven this, that if you work with people who are negative, you will be affected by that, and you will come home feeling negative, and then you'll start a fight with your partner, or you will shout at your mother when she rings up, whatever it is, but you can pick up on that. So be really responsible with your energy field and try to avoid going into situations that are provoking for you. I no longer go into loud nightclubs or large gatherings because there's just too much energy in there that really affects me. I'm not saying I come home crying or anything, but it just drains me. It makes me feel wiped out. So be aware. And if I posted recently an article by Denise Lynn, who is amazing, and she talked about going Christmas shopping and being around crowds where people are just really stressed and frazzled and focusing on commercial kind of imperatives to make them feel better, and it's not working, and it's something that you could be really affected by. So be aware of that. Here we go, Sunday. Easy does it. Nice gentle note to end the year. I'm going to actually just read this to you because I don't know that I could say it better. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. And I know that's something that I talk about a lot, and that's because it's so relevant. A lot of the stress in our lives and the discontent is because things are not happening at the rate we would like them to, and or the way that we would like them to, and particularly around relationships. And this is asking you to just let go and surrender to divine order. Everything will happen when it needs to and not before. And I know it's a hard lesson when we live in a world where we have so much control over so many things in terms of the jobs we get, the places we travel to, the sort of places we live in, the way we dress, etc., the way we're perceived. We can curate what people see about us on social media. We do not have control over a lot of things when we become parents. I know that's a really hard struggle for a lot of people, or if we even can become parents at all. We don't have control over when we're going to meet our soulmate, although there's certainly a lot we can do to increase our energetic frequencies so that we are attracting them, and removing any blocks we have towards romance. But it's really about not trying to force things, and you probably know someone or have been someone who's tried to force a relationship to happen when it's just not meant to be, or maybe you've tried to cling on to a relationship that's just really done. It's really done. And we do this for security, or we're scared of being on our own, or whatever it is. But this is just all about how you can't force things to happen. The universe is going to make them happen when they need to. There are things that need to happen behind the scenes that you can't see. So it's quite a good note to start the new year. It's not discouraging you from setting goals, but it is saying try not to be despondent to things that you want have not happened yet. That's not because they're not meant to be, it's because there is other stuff going on in the background. Or maybe it is because you are trying to force something to happen that's not right. And yeah, certainly, as I said in those examples, relationships, one area where we can do that. Now, I'm going to go with this. I'm still trying to decide whether to put both these cards up or not. They're kind of complementary, so maybe I will. And they both relate to the themes that we have here. So to recap, optimism, can't really say it better than that. Communicate with your angels, ascended masters, which is really about that kind of deeper level spiritual connection. And this is a really good time if you're off work for the holidays to be thinking about that sort of stuff. Blessings, trust, because that's the stuff, sorry, I'm backtracking, that's the stuff that gives our lives meaning. Whenever we go through crisis, our spiritual foundation is what will help us get through. It's what helps us find that resilience. Entrepreneur, indigo children, I'm still so intrigued as to why that's come up, but I'm sure someone will contact me and tell me it was for them. And easy does it. So the energy here is around hope and not being afraid to embrace the new, I would say, is also going on here. There's also some deeper level spiritual stuff, and I think that's because for many of you it's time to take that next step into to actually living what you believe in and actually committing to that. Or maybe for some of you just need to do some more learning about it. Anyway, that's it for the week. I'll put these on my social media. My Instagram is at One Grounded Angel. My Facebook page is called One Grounded Angel. Every now and then I post a card on Instagram. I say if there is an article about this on my Facebook page, and someone will message me or comment, what is your Facebook page? I would have thought that was quite obvious. Search for One Grounded Angel and you will find it. Anyway, my blog, I should say, is www.onegroundedangel.com, and you can contact me via that as well. I don't check my direct messages very often on Instagram due to some of the unsavoury, if I could put it that way, messages that I do receive, unfortunately, from members of the public. So the best way is through that booking form at my blog, and that's the best way also to book a personal reading, which is a really great way, PS, to start your year right if you've got goals you want to achieve and you need some angel guidance on to direct you on what areas to address. Thank you so much for your time and for your love and support. Enjoy the last week of the year. I hope it's been a fantastic year for you despite the hurdles. I know you've come out better off, even though you may be bruised, because the things that test us are the ways that we learn best. Take care, and I will chat to you again next year.